Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have TJ Rossi with us, and TJ is a real estate consultant and also a consultant in the world of business management. So TJ, it's great to have you. I'd just love to kind of hear how you got to be in this field that you are now.
Well, it's a pretty varied story. I've never been just a investment banker or just an insurance guy or just a salesman. It's been pretty varied from the get-go. So long story short, having experience in a large company, fresh out of, after I got my MBA in finance, worked for Ford Motor Company as a market analyst for about a year. Got my first taste of what it's like to be in a big company. And I chose instead, after about a year, to take a stab at commercial real estate development. We would focus on smaller size parcels, anywhere from 5 to 10 acres, in what was then a growing area of Southern California towards the east. And those, we would buy the dirt for our own account. And on the hard corner would be a gasoline and maybe a food pad or both. There would be strip retail, and there would be office probably on top of the building of the retail. And on the out parcels in the back would probably be something like automotive service, say a Firestone or lube oil filter and smog and so on. So tiny little neighborhood centers that you can picture, not these giant shopping centers. Did that for a bit, and then transitioned over to a manufacturing world, which is a total switch, where we devised products. We actually patented ourselves products that remove oil from water and water from oil. And we expanded that from one product line to about 122 by the time we were quasi-acquired in 2021. And from there, I went to angel investing, because I wanted to be on the buy side of life to learn private equity. I did that for a few years, took a couple deals to funding. Learned that side of the world. That got my interest in investing more so. And then along the way came this opportunity that we were discussing earlier with the publicly or non-publicly traded REIT that focused on self-storage. And they wanted someone to come in as a specialist from a turnaround standpoint for some sectors of theirs that were struggling. And that was an interesting project. Along the way, I had a couple of investments work out okay to make up for a bunch of earlier losses and other things that I was involved with, to the point where I wanted to actually manage the money myself. But I wanted to get involved in the alternative space as opposed to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, the regular, long only 60-40 portfolio that most people are familiar with. So I spent about 2.5 years deep dive all day, every day, literally every minute I could, learning about really unique, different types of investments. That was coupled with my advisory work I do for small and medium-sized companies, anywhere from startup, as far as strategics go, general management, turnaround. I sit on the boards of a couple. I'm actually a board observer and a board member for a few, and focus on helping them be more efficient from a third-party standpoint, and looking now to get really involved with from either a business development and or operations standpoint for small and medium-sized firms that need to have those owned, HONED, because all companies do need that. I don't care if you're the most well-run company on the planet, you need more efficiency and you need sales. That's just what you need. So I'm going to get more involved in that, and that's where I am.
Wow, fantastic. And so now you're in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And
just outside of Vegas.
Oh, okay. All right. And so what's your kind of future look like? What do you think the crystal ball's working like these days in the real estate world or in your investment world? Everybody
wants to talk about interest rates only, and that's as if that's the only thing that ever matters. And the funny, that's all we hear about, the interest rates. What's Walsh going to do? What was Powell going to do? And the way that the Fed's able to move markets just by speaking with their words, which by the way is their Fed speak, is very interesting, because all you have to do is say a couple things and the market thinks this, and they could just actually cause markets to move without even doing anything. So to answer your question, we never really know, because if there was a true free market out there still, a true free market where there was no intervention as far as government intervention from a Federal Reserve standpoint or policy standpoint, political policy standpoint, I think it would be a lot better. I think there'd be a lot more goods and services that could be allowed to come to fruition and not be hampered by costs and be strangled. And we'd all benefit, because if we have more goods and services, that's going to help lower the prices for goods and services. So that's why we have a lot of inflation in my mind, because they've kind of strangled that and let the big boys exist, and the small guys either get taken out or they get taken up. And so, to answer your question, I think it's going to be becoming more and more of that, where the small and medium-sized companies are going to struggle more and more, which is also why I want to be involved with them more, because that's the backbone of our country. And I've been there myself, and I believe in what they do, and I'm kind of their champion. And if I can do something I enjoy at the same time, and maybe make a buck doing it, I'm going to do it.
So you're in the process of using AI fairly extensively. So give us a little clue about how that goes together.
So AI is the most amazing, incredible. I don't have to tell your audience, but just unbelievable. So rather than just a regular, glorified Google search that some people use it for, which is their business, that's fine. Its capabilities are incredible, and I challenge it as much as I can. I use different ones. I tend to favor Claude over all of them. It's very good with prompting, and you can actually give it tasks that are quite complicated, and then you can challenge it. If it comes up with something, you can challenge it. So what I did to test it out when I first started with it was, since I know enough about investing that I would be able to see how it would come back at me. I don't know everything, but I know enough. So it's pretty accurate. A couple of times a little bit off, or didn't quite understand what I said. When I corrected it, it came back. So then what I did, over all these years, I've been trying to always have my own spreadsheets set up with different tabs that are macro linked, to know how I'm doing financially, so that I know how to manage my money, so that I know how long my spend will last to keep me afloat without having any problems, costs versus income and portfolio growth. So I've always built these complicated Excel spreadsheets over the years, and they're okay. They're not bad, but I've had to actually tweak things manually enough to where it's worked. So once a quarter, I go in there and I reassess everything, and I do all the tweaking, and I make sure everything fits, and I make sure it all feeds correctly, so that I know how I might look for the next 6 to 12 months from a living standpoint for survival. So I went to the AI, and over the course of a couple months, I fine-tuned it to create this amazing portfolio perpetuity calculator. Wow. And so what it does is I have sliders. You can slide back and forth. I can put in certain parameters, like let's say your entire net worth, or how much money you have at work doing something. Is it throwing dividends, or is it just for appreciation only? Is it gains only? Taxes, phantom income, your expenses. And if you tweak all these things, especially as you know in real time what you're spending and likely what you're earning, or how your portfolio is growing, you can make bandwidths and parameters as far as your danger zones to manage your spending. And I think it'd be a great tool for people, because they don't teach us that stuff in school. We're not taught finance or spending or money management. They just don't do it. That's why a lot of people have money problems. There's irresponsibility too, but a lot of it is just ignorance, not stupidity, but ignorance, because they weren't taught. So tools like this are great, because you can say, all right, my income is this, or I expect this, my portfolio should grow to this, inflation should be this, because a lot of people don't include inflation, which I make sure I do. And when you can tweak these things with the model that I made, that I had AI make, it's pretty interesting. So that's probably my biggest, the best tool that I've made from AI.
So I assume that this same tool or a similar tool can be used when you're consulting real estate companies.
I can make one for that too. So if let's say you've got a company, and they have only $100 million to spend. Let's say they want to raise $100 million. It's going to depend how much of that they want to put, raise from equity or debt, and also other parameters that get pretty complicated. You can start and build an AI system that will show in real time cash flow, net present value, IRRs, cash on cash, all the expected numbers that you would normally have to use an Argus enterprise software platform for, which I used to be certified in that Argus software, so I know it. And it's very complicated. It's a pretty powerful tool, but AI is to the point now where it can do it without even needing that. And it just, you can put in a bunch of numbers for a firm, and you can right there in real time, and not to have an analyst come back to you in half a day or 2 days after having worked on a new spreadsheet. You can have it right there in real time. So to answer your question, firms can use that, and I can certainly help them build what they want to do for that. A lot of them are doing it internally already, and they're with their own teams, but some of the smaller guys may not know how to do that. So that's something I could probably help with.
So just on the kind of beginner side, a couple of years ago when chat came out, I pinged, I said, well, tell me what to invest in. And it basically came back and said, oh, we're not an investment type platform. And so I just am curious, you're not really using Claude or the other AIs to advise you on what to invest in.
Well, no. So what I do is I'll do it for my own personal life, my own personal, as far as like how long my dollars last me. So I'm at my spend rate and my projected compound annual growth rate of the portfolio at an estimated very conservative inflation, taxes, all the above. How long will I last until I go to zero? Am I going to make it to the next 10 years, 20, 40, at least 30? But the goal is to get at least 40 years of, but nothing's guaranteed. But if I have a very strict model that's telling me 40, I know it's at least 10. Versus if I have a model telling me it's 10, I better be worried because it might only be 2 years, right? So, but from an investment standpoint, you can ask it. What I've done with it myself is I've actually, because I keep all my investments on a spreadsheet, and I've got them separated by large, by tranches, by categories, I should say, equity and credit, cash and property, and then within there, there's subsets. You can give it that and say, is this portfolio, efficient? Is it crazy? How would you change it? Or if somebody's starting fresh, they don't know what to do, they could ask a question as far as how to allocate. It won't tell you, yes, you should invest in this building or spend this kind of money, or it won't. They program those things so that for the most part they won't do that. But you can have it tell you allocations. Hey, I have $1 million at work, Claude, and what I want to do is really I think I have I have about 80% of that is sitting there in stocks. I want to diversify that somewhat. Here's some options, or what are some options? It'll throw you some of those, but it won't say do this specifically. But it'll give you options as far as what you can do, and then you can grind it from there, and then it will tell you what to do.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so you can kind of loop it in such a way that it gives you the allocations, and then from the allocations you can sort of see some possibilities for investing. Yeah,
you look at it, you tweak it. Now, if you already know what these things are, like in my case, I understand a lot of it already because that's just what I've been doing. It's really easy. If you're a layman coming in, you can still get basics, because a lot of people, they don't have time. The dentist, he's a dentist. Okay, the plumber, he's a plumber. That's they're not going to sit there and learn everything about investing, but from a basic standpoint, it might get them to have a little bit of an idea. So if they have a talk with their financial advisor, who's just going to tell them a certain thing, they may be able to ask more intelligent questions of that advisor to fine tune more for what they actually need themselves. And so that's why everybody can use it. And we were talking earlier, you were saying how some people might be intimidated by it. And at first it can be, because anything new is. But remember how intimidating the internet might have been for some people. Just to get online.
Right. Yeah.
And now it's like, you do it with your eyes closed. It's like driving a stick shift vehicle. When I was 14, 15, I was scared to death to drive a stick shift car.
Yeah.
And you start doing it, and then now I can do it with just one hand on the wheel, one hand on the stick shift, one hand on the phone, and one hand on my forehead, all at the same time.
It's second nature.
Yeah.
So
it's
like driving a stick shift with a little guidance, it sounds like you can run AI pretty clearly. So that's kind of what you're here for, is to help us drive the internet a little bit, drive AI.
Yeah, and what you can do also, you can ask it to ask you the questions it needs. So it's amazing. So I can say, Claude, I want this, that, and the other. But what I'm trying to get to is this objective. What questions do you need me to give? What questions should you be asking me, Claude, that I should be giving you answers for? And it'll think, and you'll think, and I'll think to myself, that's a great question. Yeah. And so I'll answer it, and it'll get deeper, and you just go from there. So you fine tune like crazy from there. It's like a reverse funnel. It's great.
Wow. That's a great tip.
You can challenge it.
Yeah.
Think of it as a person. Think of it as either a business partner or a mentor. But one thing to always remember is that it's not ever really gospel. So still use your brain in the end. It's like it's like anything else. When you do something in life, you might have advice, but you still got to make your decision with your brain in the end, because it may not be the best. Somebody may mean well, but they don't know your situation. Right. So same thing with AI, it may not know. And I've had a couple times for me where I've had to correct it because it doesn't know my life. It just knows what I told it, in this 2 minutes. So when you use it, you got to make sure you keep yourself not dependent upon it or treat it as gospel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, take real estate investment. I mean, it's the same thing. Somebody can advise you that, hey, this is the greatest thing to buy in the world, but you really have to look at it and decide yourself whether that's true or not.
That's true. It's like Bruce Bean. Let's say you've got a bunch of different properties. Somebody comes to you with another awesome one. To them, it's great. Plus, they want to sell it. It's wonderful. But maybe you've already got 6 of those properties already. They can't know that. Only you do. And you can agree. That's wonderful. It's awesome. If I only had 5 and to get to my usual 6, yeah, sign me up. But other than that, it's to a point where you have to make your own assessment.
That's fantastic. So, all right. Well, this has been an incredibly interesting conversation. I think I need to come back and digest a little bit of this, and in 2 to 3 months we should re-enter this conversation. We should bring Claude in and see what else we should talk about.
Well, we should do that. I'd be happy to talk about you and Chapman as well, so I'm ready for both.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Well, we should do that for sure. So tell me, TJ, where can people get a hold of you?
If you want to get a hold of me, email's pretty good. I don't do X or Twitter. I'm pretty old school. Very good with LinkedIn. So Tom TJ Rossi on LinkedIn. You can tell by my picture. There's another TJ out there, but we look different. So hopefully you get the right guy. Email address would be tomtjrossi@gmail.com. That's TOMTJ Rossi ROSSI @gmail.com. And that's probably the best way. Just by email. I'm available, and I'd love to talk to anybody who'd be interested in collaborating, need some work done, just want to chat. If you're in the Vegas area, you want to hang out, hit me up.
Well, I'm looking forward to collaborating with you in the future for sure.
Me too, Bruce.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.